Ramel, I have a question for you actually before we get started. So, is today your class pictures for second grade?
Yeah, what's going on here, man?
Today is a special day. Today's a special day. Today is a day we are honoring our time and commitment to this pod, to this.
What do you mean?
Team we have created, to this endeavor we have put ourselves in.
Okay.
We have hit 100 episodes.
You say that, but I'm pretty sure we're like over 100.
So anybody who has followed, we're not even going to, let me just start by saying welcome to the show. We're not even going to have a long intro. Doesn't matter. Welcome to the show.
You already did it.
You already did it. 17 Weekly Podcast. This is the Small Screen Society. We are at episode 100, as I already mentioned.
Are we
We fucking
Are
did it.
technically 100 if we switch brands?
No. I also think that we're like 106.
Our journey, journey.
All right.
Is at 100
Our
episodes.
journey is at 100 episodes. Okay.
Yes. Now, give or take 5 to 6 episodes, either less than or over 100. I can't tell you which way is correct, but we're landing on 100 for today.
I wish I knew. I would have worn something a bit more proper.
I think I did.
It's pretty good.
We're gonna celebrate.
I don't even have a beverage.
This is the most crude. All right. Well, I have weed water.
I just got water. Cheers.
This is cheers. This is some weed water.
Shandon, you know?
Cheers.
Cheers, gentlemen.
To the triumphant trio.
I like that. That was good.
If you've been watching our podcast or listening to our podcast for over 100 episodes, under 100 episodes, whatever, you'll know that we many times have had
Today
technical
will not
difficulties.
Be any different.
So much so, today will not be any different. So much so that if you notice, our audio versions of our episodes kind of cut off in like the 70s. Maybe 80s.
Bro, it's been that long since you uploaded audio.
We don't have any audio past episode.
Yeah, I was trying to figure that out because I was trying to listen to us on Spotify, and it's got to be like 82.
Yeah. So when we rebranded,
how do I get out of my contract for this show?
When we rebranded to the Small Screen Society, there was some lapses in technical and or administrative situations and issues that prevented us from uploading the audio version of our episodes to the different platforms. So that will be corrected very soon in a timely manner. But that's what happened. If you're watching our YouTube episodes that we have been uploading for, I believe, since episode 90, 92, you'll notice that we haven't uploaded an episode in about 3 to 4 episodes. So that's more. That's more of those.
On this show. Get me out of this show.
Those are more of those administrative changes and or technical issues that we did happen to run into as the business was evolving. We are in the process of correcting those. Currently,
so you could have. I don't want to be.
Have no fear.
Get me off this show. I don't want to do this anymore.
We literally could have just named this show episode 96 and gotten right into it.
Yeah, but then we would have a bunch of episodes that we just had.
We always need material for those off weeks, you know.
So, what's the positive here is for those that are the fans of the Small Screen Society, formerly known as the 17 Weekly Podcast, we will soon be having a content dump, so to say, that will be a whole slew of episodes, lost episodes that they have not heard before.
So people probably think that.
So be on the lookout for that in the next week.
People probably think that we're really slacking.
We all died.
And like, this is but we have it. It's just
or
if,
you know, we
if
got
they think we're
COVID,
slacking, they are correct. We haven't slacked. Like that is absurd.
we even hired a producer.
We see, Gab. We don't say that we don't say that on the air. We say that we had
I'm a bitch. I'll just
developmental issues.
My candy ass. Look, if we're episode 100, it means we're definitely turning over a new leaf.
No.
Way better schedule. Yeah, over. Like I will get out of my contract if this is not turning over a new leaf.
Just do what our producer does. Yes. Just don't show up. Just don't show up.
Do what our producer does.
Oh yeah, literally. And then he got brought back, and then I literally were like, okay, this is the work that we have to do this weekend for the podcast. I did it all myself. He didn't show up to work.
Right.
Yeah.
So what you're gonna see is people are gonna be able to follow us on Instagram, on Twitter, on TikTok, on
you're gonna start seeing
whatever the fuck. You're gonna start seeing promo stuff from the episodes. You're gonna start seeing highlights. We're gonna start being.
Yeah. You will, starting this week, start seeing a heavy content rollout,
and we're gonna be putting our episodes on YouTube. You'll probably be able to tune in every Thursday or Friday for new episodes. We're going to be also, if you're interested in just catching our reviews for very specific stuff, we're going to be cutting up the episodes as well, so you can just find exactly what it is that you're interested in hearing. So stay tuned for that. That starts, if this is episode 100, also means turning over a new leaf. And even if we are the podcast of technical difficulties, we will not be the podcast of fucking negligence and laziness.
Yes, correct.
If this fails, it fails correctly.
Facts.
Correct. We will, as a almost guarantee, continue 100%. To have technical difficulties.
That's what we do.
Because it's part of the show. It's part of life. You move forward. But we will be consistent in what we're doing, and that is
delivering entertainment.
Our promise to you.
I'm just really looking forward to seeing just drained Gabriel on the air. Just from literally working his fingers to the bone, producing all this content. And then when it comes down to just showing it, him just being like...
Every week he's just gonna get worse and worse.
I mean, I'm kind of there right now. Like my eyes are barely open. I'm fucking exhausted.
I know, it's great. It's only the beginning.
And then our piece of shit producer has the audacity to be like, "Didn't you have articles to write again? What did you do?
He's not getting a paycheck, right?
Hasn't done jack shit. So next week, included in our content rollout, starting next week and this going forward, we will be having a fourth member, physically, like actually on the pod. He won't have a camera, but he will be in the room in the office if he does not show up.
Believe it.
Next week. If he does not show up next week, it is written in his clause in his contract. If he does not show up next week, it is over, and we will fire him on the air.
Next week,
I'll do it.
And that
I'll do it. I'll
fire him. Final.
Hold on.
We will walk the camera to his room where he is.
So he's in.
We will walk the camera.
You mean to tell me he's in the same house as one of you right now, and he's not on camera?
Yes.
Yeah.
That is correct.
If he does not show up next week, the camera, you'll see Gab's camera. It's going to do like the Blair Witch, like shaking and running thing. It's going to show up to his room, and it's going to be Gab firing him live on the air, live on Twitch, I'm just
puckering up my lip for when I get to y'all as I'm fired.
I hope he's doing something. He's actually texting us right now. I hope he's doing something wildly inappropriate when the camera bursts through the door. That's great for readings.
I missed my flight to this. Whoa.
Take the camera to him now. Take the camera to him now.
I missed my flight to the studio this week. Southwest Airlines grounded more flight. He's on the other side of my wall.
Which means those walls are paper thin.
He could basically hear
He could be producing from the other side of that wall if he just yells enough.
Correct.
God.
Correct.
What have we done?
I'll fire him next week. Come to episode 101 because you'll get to see someone get fired live on air.
come to episode 101 for drama,
That's
possibly. Okay, boys. So this 100th episode, we have some things to review. We have some things to discuss. What do you guys want to start with? I say we start with a quick discussion.
That's
of Halloween Kills to get that out of the way.
That's fine. I would save Dune for the end because I feel like that's going to take
This is a very
quick
quick discussion. I would say yes.
Okay.
I would like to discuss Halloween Kills first. We will then discuss Army of the Knives or some shit.
Army of the Knives.
And then Dune.
Okay. So we're going to start with Halloween Kills.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, all right. Here's a Small Scene Society. We're going to tackle Halloween Kills for y'all, the latest installment in the Halloween franchise. This movie was shit.
Now, before you do that, one, I'm sorry, we were drinking a bunch. 2, there was 19 people around, very distracting. 3, I missed 45 minutes of the movie because I was inside talking to one of our friends about having children. So we didn't really get a good sample size of this film at all. Now I rewatched the film.
Okay.
I rewatched the film, and
you rewatched it on your own, outside.
This movie sucks.
No, quite the opposite.
So we don't even need to summarize it. We don't even need to summarize it.
It's another Halloween movie. It's the latest installment. Let's break it down. Fico, obviously, you have a lot of positive emotions about Halloween Kills. So please step into my boardroom. Go ahead and give your positive review of this movie.
So what this movie does is it really is an ode to the first one. They bring back some characters. They bring back the survivors of the original Halloween 1978. That was a good touch. Tommy Doyle there, even though he was kind of annoying. The nurse that escaped in the beginning, she comes back. And what this movie really does is you knew there was going to be another one. They said it last or maybe 2 years ago before COVID. They were going to do Halloween Kills and they were going to do Halloween Ends. Okay, within subsequent years, which I believe they're both already. The new one is already filmed also. Go ahead. Question:
Is that next one that Halloween Ends officially going to be the last one?
Depending on who wants to resurrect the franchise, because like Rob Zombie resurrected the franchise and kind of did his own spin on it. Halloween 2018 came out. That was kind of tied into this story. So honestly, as long as Jamie Lee Curtis wants to keep making movies, if she's still alive by the end of the next one, which we'll get to.
Right.
If she's still around, who knows who wants to make a reimagining. The thing with Michael Myers is you clearly can't kill him. And that's been the reason why we've had Halloween Resurrection, Halloween H2O, Halloween this, that, kills, ends, whatever. Right. You have all that. Right. So,
wait, what the hell is Halloween H2O? Is that like in a fish tank?
No, Halloween H2O is a good
Halloween
one. That's
H2O
Halloween 20 years later. Yeah. So Halloween 20 H2O.
H2O.
And that one's
keep that
one's great. And that's the first one that Jamie Lee Curtis came back to after Halloween 2. So that was like everyone's like, oh man, like this gotta be it. It's never it. And then you have the one with Busta Rhymes in it. This story can go on forever.
Oh yeah, I remember
what
that
I liked about this movie is they made no buts about it. You knew there was going to be another one after this. So this movie was just literally going to be Michael just going out and just murking people. And for that sense, I liked the movie because all it was just good old-fashioned killing. If you thought there was going to be some grandiose plot, nah, son, wait till the next one because that's what's going to go down. What this movie did was just show that Michael's a heartless bastard. Some poor guy had to jump out of a window because of an angry mob. It was almost like it was good. I just enjoyed what this movie did because it's showing that Michael can't die, and that's like if we missed some of the dialogue between Jamie Lee Curtis and the cop when they were side by side in the hospital, they're basically going like, listen, like this guy is not going to die unless we like legitimately take his head off and do whatever. We got to bust this guy up real good. But every time he kills, he gets stronger. Which makes me think in the next one, Halloween Ends. Halloween isn't going to end because Michael Myers dies. Halloween's going to end because Michael's finally going to get freaking Laurie Strode and have his way with her. He's gonna plunge that knife into his sister. And the sad thing is, she could have avoided this whole thing because the whole time, all he wanted to do was just reunite with his estranged sister. very sad. And she turned a knife on him. If anything, this could have been prevented. So as far as I'm concerned, she deserves everything that she gets. But anyway, I digress. The movie for me, it worked because it did take odes from the original. They did have some flashback scenes. They brought back some characters, which I enjoyed. Was it the best Halloween movie? No. Nothing's going to be, in my opinion, like the original. The original did so much with so less. It had a $300,000 budget. There's barely any blood at all in it. And it just lived off of... I think there was only 2 spots of color in it. And it preyed off of just suspense and just emotion and all that. These new ones, they have to resort to hokey deaths and, funny storylines. For what this movie's worth, I give it a 6.9. I'm not... Like, do we do the decimal point things here? No? All right, so I give it a 6.
We don't do
round up. I give it a 6.
Oh, you want it down?
Yeah, wow, you want it down?
It's not the best, but I still enjoyed it. It was still a fun time of killing, but I'm waiting for the next one. I need the next one to happen. And I just know that one of you guys is going to give it a fucking 2, so got to save some face, give it a 6.
So I'll let me go next.
Go next. You can go next.
Let me go next. Let me go next because my I feel like my review is kind of in between you two. So I guess for me it's really just I agree with a lot of things that you said, Angelo. I have some questions because again, so your review I take a little more biased because you've been a fan of the Halloween franchise for a very long the whole way. So obviously, even if it's a terrible fucking movie, you're at least gonna appreciate that it's Michael and it's all shit.
Listen, Halloween 3 doesn't even have Michael Myers in it. But if you take that away, if you know that kind of going in, it's still a fun horror movie. So I'm always gonna give these films their a D. Besides Halloween Resurrection and Halloween 2, the Rob Zombie one. They're all decent. Those 2 are just garbage. Yeah. This is better than both of those. Sir.
Gab, yes.
Yes, thank you. Fico, did you just say that in Halloween 3 he's not in it?
No, they went a different way with the storyline. That's called I think it's called the Season of the Witch, and he's not in it. No one really knew about it, but now that you know that, if you haven't seen it, take a look at it, and it's not a terrible Halloween. They diverted from the script there. They brought him back for the 4th one, and he's been there ever since because they know that Michael is the money. Michael is money.
Who was the killer in the 3rd Halloween?
Yeah, it's a bunch of fucking creepy witches. It's.
I've never seen that one.
It's.
Was Jamie Lee Curtis in that?
No. Jamie Lee did not come back until I believe Halloween H2O. So they just made a 4th and a 5th.
So they made a Halloween, but they made a Halloween 3. Okay, Ramel's getting happy. So they made a Halloween 3. Used the IP and the name.
Right.
Did not have Jamie Lee Curtis. Did not have Michael Myers. But they were still like, we promise it's Halloween. Go see it.
Essentially.
Right. What year did that come out? That I will see. That I want to see.
Why do you want to see that?
If
instead?
That kind of a fracaso was put in theaters, like the audacity to do that,
see what?
I really just want to see it to know that it exists because that just seems so disrespectful to your own brand.
1982.
Isn't it the 80s? Yeah, that's good. That almost seems to me like an After Dark.
I really want to spare you guys from watching that one for an After Dark because that's gonna get out of hand. We might not even finish that.
I love it. Like if we have any, I can't wait. I really want us to start making some merch because I want some After Dark merch and just something that just highlights how we've been talking about After Dark since the inception of this podcast, and we are on episode 100, and there's only been one.
And we've only done
because I think the one After Dark that we did took years off of our life because we had to record it 7 times.
It did.
We literally
do we don't have that footage anymore, do we?
We probably do, but we had to stop because there's a lot.
No, I actually
there's a lot of questionable things that were said that we just can't say that. Can't say it on the radio.
Yeah, I have some stuff. I have some stuff saved. I think so. I can.
Then that's not After Dark. That's the Lost Files.
Yeah, that's for like if any of us make it to like
some,
politician status, if we want to take us down, that's
yes, correct.
That's probably it. Yeah. All right, so Fico said 6 for this whole
I'll
movie?
give it a 6.
Okay,
Yeah.
Ramel, keep going. Sorry.
So all I was saying was, because of Angel's bias, I take his review, as that. As a person, me, who is not a fan of the Halloween franchise, I don't think that it's a bad franchise. I'm not against it. Like, I prefer Mike Myers to Jason. I don't like Mike, to me, the story of Halloween is a better story to me than the camp at
I never was a big Friday the 13th guy. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I'm sure that they had their place. They're fun movies. Again, there's a lot of fun killing and gore in them. But I've never been a fan of the Jason Voorhees story. Freddy is a compelling figure, so that's why I love the Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah. So now Freddy is one that I can get behind as a good battle to be for me the two of my favorite.
We got a Freddy versus Jason movie somehow. If we could just get Michael involved,
we do.
Things could really pan out.
Did Michael do any? I
don't know if he's done any crossover films. I don't think so.
He hasn't done any verses. We've gotten Predator. We've gotten
Alien.
Alien.
Two. Alien versus Predator, and
no, we got Jason
versus Freddy. And those are the only two.
When Jason,
that's it. I feel like
when Jason was in space, did he come across anything out there? Anything like a leprechaun or anything like that?
Yo, I would like to see a Leprechaun versus. That would be cool.
Leprechaun is a sick.
There should be a Leprechaun
and Chucky, bro.
Because that also is another franchise.
Is doing work.
Leprechaun versus Chucky. Leprechaun versus Chucky.
I'm on. Sign me up for that.
See.
Oh, it has Hollywood slept on that idea. That is a superb movie.
And the thing is, like, Chucky's gaining new legs. He's got a series, I believe, on Sci-Fi or AMC. One of the two has a Chucky series now.
Sci-Fi.
And it's like, Chucky's got this credibility now. I would like to see him. I would love to see a Leprechaun Chucky. That could be just.
To be honest, I think the original versus should have been Mike versus Freddy. Because I think those two are the bigger
horror
of the two, and then maybe you put Jason versus the Scream Killer.
You know what? You want to bring Ghostface in? Ghostface could have a really nice rapport.
I disagree.
No,
because the whole allure of a character like Michael, and I think even Jason Voorhees, is the mask and the not knowing element. There's a mystery even to that,
right?
Where Ghostface, we're always unmasking Ghostface by the end of it, because there is an actual narrative.
Right. There's it's always someone you know.
Right, but what about a story? What about a story where you don't know which of the fucking Ghostface killers it is?
No, I'm still not on board. I think that's just not for me. That's not it.
They said it in the Scream 1, where they're like talking about movies and stuff like that. You're starting to come off as a Wes Carpenter person, which is putting Wes Craven and John Carpenter together. That's how you're coming off.
Yeah.
You're starting to sound like a really cheesy Wes Carpenter film right
Gotcha.
now. But I'd still watch the shit at.
Next Halloween we're doing these battles.
I would love that'd be kind of cool, actually. Yeah, we could do something like that. What do you give the film?
So,
or you got a question?
I give the movie a 5 out of 10, because to me it was neither here nor there. It was at times it was fun because it was the fun killing, but then at times I was like, this is pretty bad. So, like, from a story standpoint, all that bullshit. Granted, I understand the horror genre, and I understand that not all of these movies have to have this incredible plot.
This one was basically just let's
literally a guy that can't die and
like
just kills
that
people.
opening sequence when he's killing the firefighters. That was a good time. That was a real good time.
Yeah. No. Again, that's why it got a 5 for me. It's not bad because had a good time watching it. I would be lying to say if I didn't.
Equipment that day. That would have been a good
but
episode.
I don't need to watch it again. Is my thing, which is why it has.
Again, I'm gonna hop on that with you. I watched it again just because I want to see what I missed and all that.
Right.
When it comes down to it, when it comes to Halloween season, which we just got out of, I'm watching the original. I'm watching the Rob Zombie one, and I'm probably watching H2O. Those are the only three of these that I think are rewatchable. The second one's okay, but out of all of them, like that, those are the only ones that have any rewatchability out of 12 or 13 films. That's what I think. Gabriel, what do you think?
Yeah.
Look, we'll just wrap this up really quick because we got all right, so obviously, in my opinion, this movie was absolute trash. But that absolute trashness, it doesn't mean. How do I even say this? I guess I am tired. I thought the movie was absolute trash, but only because it was succeeding at what it was supposed to be doing. Like, they just made another classic run-of-the-mill cliche slasher movie for the Halloween holiday that they knew was an easy check because the title of the movie is literally the fucking holiday in the month it came out in.
That's the beauty of it.
It's easy. It's easy cash. It's shameless in its approach. The ending where they're literally like 20 men have Michael on the ground, yet he still gets up on bath salts and just fucks everyone up. I was like, I'm out.
Bro, he just can't be killed. He's immortal. That was like a solid WWE storyline. That's like we've seen Undertaker and Kane do that. We've seen Undertaker and Kane do that a million times. It's great. We love it every time.
You know how many times Undertaker has taken multiple chair shots and is laying flat in the ring and then just goes.
It's not immortal. It's just the director going, we have to make another one, so keep him alive.
We knew that.
Like, it's just like fine. But I will say that the film is custom made for its specific audience. It's made for those Halloween fans. Yeah. It's made for those slasher movie fans. There was no gratuitous, super extreme female violence, which we all know is something I hate about these movies, and this one didn't have it. This movie to me was a comedy. I actually really had a good time watching it with everyone. It knows it's funny. It just like the guy, that stupid ass cop, like shooting, and like Michael's just like popping and walking down the stairs, like just avoiding like every gunshot, and I'm just like, that's hilarious, and you know it's hilarious. So Fico, contrary to your suspicions, I would actually give this Halloween movie for the fans I would also give it a 6. I would give it a 6 because it's just
success. It's still better.
It's a Halloween movie. It's a Halloween movie, and if you just want to go see during the month of October some dumbass, slashy, hilarious tropes in slasher movies, go see this shit.
Absolutely.
Go see this. And if you want to see a mentally ill person commit suicide for unjust reasons, go see it.
That was the hardest part to watch. I actually felt so bad for that dude.
That was pretty fucked up.
But that's how you know they make a good movie. Attachment to a character that was literally in the film for 2 minutes and then leapt to his death. Very sad. He was still twitching on the way down.
And if you want to see a movie where absolutely everyone in a town is just completely scientifically unintelligent, yes,
that's the best part about those movies. Like, just how about we just don't go to this town for Halloween? Let's just go away. The whole town. Just go.
The girl who shot herself.
That was just.
The girl who shot herself. I'm like, comedy. This is comedy.
It was hilarious.
No one is that stupid.
It was a hilarious movie.
No one is that stupid. This is a movie that you watch with a big group of people. You have some drinks and you have a laugh.
That's exactly what we did. Because
hey town,
just don't go out.
Hey town, bring in the government if you can't. If your cops can't.
For Christ's sake, it's been happening since 19.
Maybe bring in the army.
This has been going on.
What's the National Guard?
You just have somebody.
Where's the National Guard? Maybe when you starting October 1st, bring in the National Guard.
Write to your senators.
Yeah.
Have some elections. Get new government. Get a new mayor. I don't know if this is it. I don't know if your trajectory is the right way.
He can't kill everybody. He can't. he does not have the time. So, do better. Just do better as a town. Do better. You know what? Just
Just
do better. That being said, great film, hilarious.
If you see him, hey cops, if you see him, whip out the bazooka, the rocket launcher. Whip out something stronger than a pistol.
If there's 20 of you on the street, hold him down. Go get a chainsaw and make sure the head's cut off.
Never works.
Like I have
chop the head off.
In Scott Evil fashion, I have a chainsaw in my room. I'll go get it. Look, we'll do it together. Slice, boom, done.
You just don't get it, dude.
Yeah.
You just don't get it.
So that's Halloween.
That's Halloween.
Halloween Kills. It's I think streaming on Peacock. We don't get paid for this, but we have to just tell you our fans where.
That's absolutely that's reasonable.
Let's move on to Netflix and their newest release of Army of
Thieves. They steal. Thieves.
Guys. All right, so here we have the latest from Zack Snyder.
Show him the hoodie.
This would not be the Small Screen Society if we did not bring up Zack Snyder many times.
Gabriel has the custom hoodie,
and of course,
I'm a supporter of the man. He was wronged. Fuck you, WB. Anyway, so here we have the latest creation from Zack Snyder in his Army of the Dead universe, I guess. 'Cause sure. Army of Thieves, a prequel to Army of the Dead, which came out earlier this year, following the safe cracker Ludwig Dieter, what I believe was his name. Yep. Yeah, so we're Ludwig Dieter. We're following his origin story in Europe as he joins a band of merry people, filling in the classic cliche tropes of a heist movie, as they seek to unlock 3 master safes in order to become bajillionaires. So yeah, Army of Thieves. I'll start us off.
Sure.
I thought it was a fun time. I liked that it was very self-aware. I could hear guys. I feel like I can hear myself in someone's earphones or mics. Yeah, I just heard myself again. But all right.
Is there kids there?
No, I can. No, it's just that we're Hispanic, and for some reason, no one knows how to.
Our family's very loud.
So no one knows.
It's fine.
No one knows how to fucking talk. It's just screaming for absolutely everything. We're
okay. We're okay.
Anyway, I'll edit that out. I thought the movie was a really good time. I think I appreciated how self-aware it was of itself. Like it knew. All right, I'm going to make a heist movie. It's going to have all your cliche characters that are in a heist movie. But even while doing that, I'm going to be meta with it, self-aware of what I'm doing. Some of the jokes in there were very tongue-in-cheek. I thought that was very funny. The casting was great. Dieter was actually one of my favorite characters from Army of the Dead. And I think that he got this kind of spinoff was cool. I will also say that even though it seems completely random to me, that in a universe that's based around a zombie apocalypse, you somehow manage to fit in a heist movie that somehow takes place. Like
that's what I was thinking. Like during it, I'm like, huh, okay. Like it's like
just this unique kind of overlap that you haven't seen in any other kind of franchise film or anything like that. So kudos for attempting that and for the most part pulling it off. Yeah. I'm more invested in that character. I'm invested to see where I think it's War of the Dead will be the sequel to Army of the Dead that'll follow up in this, I guess, new little trilogy.
Are they making it a movie or are they making it like another thing?
And there's a sequel to Army of the Dead film called War of the Dead.
Okay.
So and I think Dieter somehow survived his fate in Army of the Dead. Spoiler alert. Okay. So I guess this is really his story. This is somehow following him. I will say Snyder likes his MacGuffins. The 3 safes gave me very much the mother boxes from Justice League vibes. Wow, yeah. I appreciated it because like I don't give a. He somehow made the idea of a safe, visual, aesthetically pleasing. I love the sequences of like the zooming in and how it's unlocking and the contraption.
I was gonna say you could have given me basically 2 hours of that, and I was in because it was beautiful.
Yeah,
it was beautiful. Just
the design of those, the doors and the elaborate, like that was great. Did the movie blow my mind? Absolutely not. But it's a Netflix movie. It's just like, man. Movies can just be fun, and I thought that the film was really enjoyable.
I think you put that up there with like The Italian Job and stuff like that. It's an entertaining heist movie.
Oh yeah.
You know, someone's gonna get fucking double crossed. That's gonna happen. There's gonna be some weird tangent love story. Someone's not gonna get out alive. It was very well done. And I think, what is his name? Matthias Schweinhofer. He's fantastic. He's just a really good actor, and like his mannerisms, he makes you feel sad. You love how he's quirky. He's just very good at what he does. So this character is good, and I would love to see more of him. So if he is in War of the Dead, I'm ecstatic. I told you off the bat, if this movie was basically all him, it's gonna get a high mark, and it did in my book. Absolutely. Just everything's stunning.
It's a fun time.
Yeah, I hated the Interpol cop. That guy sucked. And the whole thing is because you kind of touched on it, is like, all right, there's a zombie apocalypse going on, but these guys are robbing banks. He's taking his job way too fucking seriously. But at the end of the day, there's a zombie apocalypse happening. What's that money gonna do? What are you gonna do with all that money? You're gonna be a fucking zombie soon. You're gonna be looking for brains. That's gonna be your currency. But you know what? Hey, whatever.
That's to me the only like Gab said, the movie's not perfect. It's got its flaws, it's got its issues. But to me, the biggest thing that bothered me was that part of the story. I just can't get behind the cop just ignoring a worldwide pandemic or whatever the fuck it is. Zombies, or maybe just
technically it's not.
It's just happening in the U.S.
It's just happening. If you remember Army of the Dead, it breaks out in Las Vegas, and it is contained to Las Vegas.
That's right.
But regardless, I still think that, to me, something of that magnitude should not, like, it just felt like, oh, let's just ignore this fucking thing that all of the world has always feared, that there's a zombie apocalypse that happens, and it actually does. And even though it's in one city, you absolutely very well know that could very well spread everywhere else
too. It's like,
and all of a sudden it's like, no.
You know what?
Let's put our shit aside. And let's just continue our regular lives and catch some thieves. That was the only thing that I had a problem with, but it didn't deter me from enjoying the movie. It didn't make me think I didn't think, oh, the scenes with the cops, like every single time the cops showed up, I wasn't like, oh god, the cops again was this annoying thing with the cop. And no, like, okay, they committed to that part of the story. They committed to it. You have to have a cop in a heist movie.
It makes sense.
You have to have the cops chasing the thieves, or else it's not really a heist movie. If it's that easy.
Just guys literally just robbing people. It's not. Yeah,
right. It would just be just guys robbing people, which wouldn't be fun.
And I kind of felt like,
And to be honest, I was gonna say, to be honest, I did actually enjoy that the cop was like trying to get a step ahead of them.
Oh, that was very well done. That was a good job.
Just like in typical heist movies, the cops always want to try to get ahead, and they always fail every time because again, they're not so ahead.
Now, there's one part. There's two things in this film besides that I guess kind of like upset me a little bit, if you will. Is one of them was at the end there. They tell you that the safe left an hour and a half earlier, and everyone gets pissed off, including the two people that are trying to double cross her. And then somehow they're able, while they're still moving as safe, and it doesn't matter if they're going 24 miles an hour, They're still an hour and a half ahead of you on a jump here, going up some windy ass roads. I don't care how good your driver is. He ain't gonna catch him in 15 minutes. He ain't gonna do it. That's not gonna happen. So I was like, well, they should have still been enough time to just kind of check out there, but whatever. Not gonna nitpick there. Right. And then another part is, I think it was the second safe they cracked. There's a lot of you almost want to create this drama, like, oh man, like I don't know if they're gonna make it, but you kind of knew they were, and for some reason, like I just didn't buy the sense of urgency, and the guy doing the Richard Nixon shit upstairs. Other than that, it's a great movie. I'm not gonna knock off points off of that. It's just like it's a couple things that I was like, could have maybe written that different, could have played out different.
I get that. I agree to an extent. I agree with those two. Kind of nitpick.
It's nothing crazy.
I think.
Guy, were you gonna say something?
I just feel like when it comes to the cop, I was like, calm down.
Yeah, just calm down. Do less.
Do
just
less.
Relax
and also like even when they catch the Brazilian girl, like why are you trying to like poke her eye out? Like,
you can't be doing that. You can't be putting your hands on people like that, man. Can't do it.
Like
you're that mad because a guy shot you.
Like you're a cop. It's gonna happen.
And the bullet didn't even go through. He had a flask there. If he wasn't a raging out.
Yeah, the flask helped him, so he didn't act
like there's. I think I think that was overperformed. It was overperformed. Yes. I also will say in classic Snyder film style, there are things that are always going to be there. There's going to be those plot points that kind of drive by that you're like, what was the why? And then there's going to be at least one character that you're like, why are you here?
Yeah, fucking die.
God, like for me, Army of the Dead, it was the daughter. I was like, I need you to leave. And in this case, it was the cop. I was like, but I'm almost like not even mad at it, like because it's kind of like it didn't cost me a dime. Again, it was on Netflix. I feel like it's just a perfect match for someone like Snyder's creativity. Yeah. Without like really butthurt superfans, where he can just create exactly what he wants to create, how he wants to do it. And for people who just want to have fun, because movies can just be fun, you can do it. And I thought that was, Vigo, I will completely agree with you actually about, because of our MacGuffin situation, that vault in the middle, it totally... I didn't feel the tension because it's like, well, we got to get to the third.
Yeah, exactly. That's good. Yeah, like we still have an hour left here. Like something's got to happen. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think it was just like a build up to find out that Dominic Brand, whatever the fuck Muscle Man's name is a piece of shit. Like, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it was. I liked it. It was a lot of fun. Rewatchability.
I might throw that on again. You know, like I don't know. Like, am I gonna?
I was
gonna say like
it would have to be a very specific occasion.
Yeah, because again, like if I want to watch like a heist movie, most likely like I said, I'm gonna probably throw on The Italian Job. I'm gonna throw on a film like that. You know, Lock, Stock, Ocean's 11, Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels, something like that. I'll probably throw that on. But there's a world in which, you know what, I'm gonna be like, we'll watch a little bit of the Army of the Thieves there. I don't know if it's gonna be anytime recently.
Actually, you make a really good point. I think Pico makes a really good point because it's kind of like it's kind of like the formula we know it's been perfected in this franchise, in this type of movie, and I think something that was really missing for me in Army of Thieves was that twist, that little that twist thing at the end where you're like, son of a gun, like that.
That's it, Gab.
That's what I was missing. That's you. There's always gun.
There's always that moment.
That son of a gun moment.
I think we reviewed Inside Man on this
Is that the one with Clive Owen?
In a previous episode. Yeah. The one with Clive Owen and Denzel Washington.
Yep, it had it.
And that to me is the quintessential heist movie because it does everything perfectly in terms of a heist movie. It doesn't have any of the comedy in it because that's not what they focused on. But it at the end, even with all the drama and all the realness, it still gives you that last like those fucking pieces of
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Like, god damn it, they got away with it. They did that, and the entire time we had no idea
Ocean's
what the hell
11
they were
had
doing.
that too.
Yeah, Ocean's. I think that.
Oh yeah, Ocean's 11 just in a different way because Ocean's 11 is a little
that
more
was
funny.
but they have that like,
But,
oh
like,
my god, it all makes
It's
so much
just as
sense.
good.
Have it.
It's just as good. Yes,
And they have that.
it's
too.
just as good.
And that's just
I don't know.
and that was something that I missed from this.
I thought honestly, like I thought it was gonna. I don't know. I think there was a missed opportunity, maybe, or maybe again, I'm just kind of just thinking out loud. If Sebastian or whatever his other name is at the end of this movie, Ludwig,
Ludwig Dieter.
like he grew up like an orphan or something, and this guy who was making the safes turned out to be his father, and in the encryptions he was sending him messages to his son the whole time, and when he cracks open that last one, it's like, oh, my father. That could have been it. That could have been great. Like go to California.
That could have been something. That could have been something. Yeah,
last safe's over there.
Like his son could have been the only person that could have gotten this.
It's
done.
a stretch,
you know
but
what I mean? Like,
Exactly, it would have worked. It would have been
100%. I would have accepted it.
That little thing.
I would have accepted that.
He opens the locket, and the locket has a picture of him in it, of him as a kid.
Like, even
he's had like a
You know what I
locket
mean?
the whole time, and he's like, wait a minute.
It's the other half of the locket.
That classic other half of the medallion.
Exactly. You start crying.
Hollywood.
Yeah.
Netflix, call us. Call us.
Yeah,
we have
seriously.
ideas.
I think that's really. I agree. That's, to me, it had everything good. All those good elements of it. It had some of its but what did help it also positively was like you guys mentioned, the safe stuff,
cool.
because that isn't in those other movies, where you get that element of the actual trying to open of these safes, which we don't get in these other
in the genre. Yeah.
In the other heist movies, you don't get that aspect of it. You don't get the actual work that the crack guy is trying to fucking do.
And like the tension, like, did I break it? Did I do this? Or like, if I fuck this up, we're not going to be able to open. But actually being able to see the gears going, and even when they misfire, it's like, oh shit, like, this is smart.
So that's a new element that they added to this that I think was a good element to add to these movies, because it does add to that pressure of the moment.
Yeah, I liked that the second save he made a mistake, and then like the nod,
and it was like, holy shit, I fucked up once,
like that booby trap.
The machine is telling you,
I thought it was cool. I thought that was a really cool idea from Simon's
cool,
part. I think that was a lot of fun, but I think that was its Achilles heel. Fico?
Yeah, no, I agree. If I have to give it a rating per se, I'm between a 7 and an 8. Like I want to give it an 8, but I almost feel like it's too high of a score. Fuck it, let's give it an 8. Just for the performance of Matthias Schweinhofer alone is great.
I'm gonna go 7.
Fair.
7, yeah, 7. I'm gonna go 7.
Yeah, I'm gonna side with Ramel on this one. I think it's a 7. If it just gave me that twist at the end.
If it gives you a twist, we're talking 9.
It would have been a solid 8.
If it gives me a twist, I'm going 9.
Oh no, with a twist, you're going borderline 9.
Because again, that's all.
I was waiting for him on the boat. I was just like, all right,
I would have been.
Show us the thing that you're hiding.
The reveal, the big reveal that you're gonna do.
And there's like the credits. I was like, what?
The thing is also when he's on the boat, I was thinking of myself in that position. I would have been sobbing like a child, like the girl of my dreams, and she let me go, and she's gonna have to wait for. I would have been a little unhappy.
I'm glad they didn't. I was expecting her to die, and I'm glad that she didn't, because I mean that means there's like more connectivity for her to come back in War of the Dead, and I'm game.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Yeah, I'm down regardless. They've kept me interested, and now I do want to watch the third one, and that's, I guess, kind of really all what you want as a studio. Keep the people interested until you give us
universe,
the third part. Yeah. Okay, so
big time.
The moment of truth. We're discussing Dune. We we went to see it. Gab and I went to go see an IMAX because I know nothing. I didn't read the book. I didn't, whatever. I did originally watch the old 80s version of it first months ago because I just wanted to, because why not? Because I knew that this movie was coming out, in October. So I was like, let me just watch the old one and see what happens. It was so bad. So fucking bad.
I believe Gab told us about that too. Like not even to bother with it.
Yes. So, yeah. So I watched that one and like, I think I fell asleep halfway through it because it was that's how bad it was. So I didn't even watch the second half of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my mentality going into this one was, I saw the trailer. I go, okay, this looks like it's going to be top level
Great
quality
cast,
shit.
too.
So I have to, based off of the trailer alone, I was like, I need to go see this in IMAX because it just looks grandiose.
Oh wait, do you want me to recap the movie? Sorry, just should I recap?
No, just yeah. Go ahead, recap the movie first, and then we'll
we'll dive back in. Yeah, so here we go. It's the Small Screen Society's review for Dune Part 1. The latest project from Warner Brothers, an attempt at a franchise. Wait, did you just say the director's name, Fico?
No, I just said Part 1. But
Part 1. I never say the director's name because I always botch the
Villeneuve.
Yeah, whatever.
Denis Villeneuve.
Yeah,
something French. It's great though.
Something French, yeah. So this is Dune Part 1. Dune, based in a very, very, very distant future, approximately maybe 10,000 years or so into the future, where the human race has journeyed across the stars to inhabit other planets, and an emperor rules the entire known universe with noble families serving under him. Ramel is getting drunk as I'm trying to recap, but we will keep going.
No, I'm just trying to...
This is the making of an After Dark. It's happening.
I know, it's
slowly but surely.
And so we have our story with the family of the Atreides, with our classic hero persona of Paul Atreides as his family is sent to the desert planet of Arrakis, where a spice that controls the entire known universe is produced. Here we have the setup for what is essentially a tragedy for Part 1 that will build into its grand epic in Part 2. Oh, yeah. Guys, this is Dune, the originator, the first, the one that inspired Star Wars, Star Trek, and all the sci-fi that we have enjoyed for the last decades. I'm going to let you guys go first because I know you guys didn't read the book. This is fresh to you. You both went in blind, so I'm curious to see what you guys liked, what you didn't like, what stood out, and to kind of see what... I'm curious to know, is it director's vision and production that has more points in what you guys in your feedback, or is it the actual raw material that made this classic something that stood out to you guys? So
okay, so I'll go first. Since I still have the thoughts in my brain. So we went to go see in IMAX because the trailer showed me grandiose. So and for me, I'm all about visuals, as I've mentioned many times in our reviews and other movies and shows. To me, that's like one of the first things that I catch in movies that lock me in. It's visuals, not necessarily plot. Maybe like people like Gav, they're big on plot. I'm more visuals first. And for me, right off the bat, holy shit. Like, this thing, if you have not seen this goddamn movie, go see it in a movie theater and preferably in IMAX. Because it is stunning in the massive, just like, you feel like you're fucking on this like desert planet. Because the camera shots and the just how they make you feel, it just like you literally feel like you're just in this wide open fucking universe. And I just beautifully done. In terms of the story, awesome. It right away in the beginning, I was like, I don't know what they're going with this. It's a little confusing at first because you're like, you're like, what are these names? What are these houses? What are these? What's going on? Because they don't necessarily just like throw you in and explain it, like, you know, how Star Wars does, like the title fucking shit in the beginning. You know what I mean? Like you just
it's more God.
you're going into this blind, right? So right off the bat, you're going into this thing. All right, there's a family here. They're leaving now. There's another family, and like that's. But over time, as you kind of like get through the movie, you learn more and more and more. But at the same time that you're learning about what's happening, you're also kind of getting invested in learning about these specific characters. And you're like, okay, cool, like awesome. Like then the bigger moments happen, and then you find yourself rooting for these characters, and it's like, okay, like halfway through the movie, you're like, holy shit, I'm more invested in this than I thought I was.
I'm into this. Wow.
Because it just kind of just like hits you like randomly. I think, I don't know. I'm now trying to like think about the movie and process my thoughts. But I really enjoyed the movie. The acting was superb. Timothy fucking Chalamet.
That's not, you know, that's not
Chalamet.
Is the kid annoys me, but he's a goddamn good actor.
He does the damn thing.
I mean, what am I gonna do? I hate to say it, but he's a goddamn good actor. The scene, in particular, where he puts the hand in the box, and the Bene Gesserit, whatever. When the Queen Bene Gesserit opens her fucking, puts the hand in the box, and he goes, and she goes, holy shit, you're gonna feel pain, so gotta hold it in there. Are you tough or nah? Are you tough or nah? But you see his face. The big difference. So one thing I want to bring up quickly, just to compare these two scenes and compare the acting in this. It's in the original, the 80s one, because we then came home from the movie theater and immediately watched it.
No, why?
Like I watched it again, like a second time, and like I had to compare because like it was something that I just had to do. And in the scene with the box in the original, the kid, like they put the camera has like an X-ray view of the box. And you see the guy's hand in crude CGI, with like a fake fire around it, and it's like melting. Like the hand is like melting inside the box with fire. And you see the actor, but the actor camera, it's only of his profile, and he's just going like shit like that. Terrible acting. Terrible like moment. There's no suspense in it because you're just seeing what's happening to the guy's hand.
You almost have to.
So you have you already know. You
almost have to envision it. And
this
one
he
could sell that.
You have to envision what's happening, and the kid has to sell the pain that he's going through, and he does it very well.
A bit of suspense.
He's sweating. He's crying.
You got the mom on the other side of the door. She's
the mom on the other side of the door. The dad, Poe fucking Bannon, or whatever the hell his name is from Star
Isaac,
Wars.
Man. My man.
Oscar Isaac. Yeah, Oscar Isaac. Great job as that like king guy.
The
incredible
Duke
job.
Leto Atreides.
Yeah.
That guy's great.
I mean, it just to be honest, everyone, fucking Game of Thrones guy, Aquaman,
Jason Momoa.
Jason Momoa. He does his usual typical shit in movies, but every time, man, he succeeds.
He's good.
You root for the guy. You root for him. He's the big brawny, fighter, but you root for him every time.
Hate to see him die.
Just really well done. I fucking love the movie. I cannot wait for number 2, and I will be seeing this again with anybody who would be willing to watch a 3-hour movie.
Yeah, I think that's the same way I look at it. Is that it's crazy because it's all of 2 hours and 40 something minutes, I think, and it still has rewatchability. Not many movies can do that. not many movies can hold my attention for that long. This one seemed to have done that. And like you said, you're kind of figuring it out going in green here, not really knowing a storyline, not really knowing anything about these characters or anything. You kind of find yourself halfway through, like, oh shit, like, yeah, I'm invested in this storyline.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm also a sucker for any movie that the main character or one of the main characters starts seeing visions, and it kind of seems like they're seeing their own rise and then potential demise.
Future and fate.
I am a sucker for that type of shit because you basically know what's going to happen to you, and if you're going to keep going on this course for whatever reason, I'm along for the journey with you. Going into this movie, I thought that I was going to be more wowed, I guess, by the stunning features of it and how it's shot and the visuals and everything. But then I start getting into the storyline. I think the storyline is actually what really put its meat hooks in me and dragged me in. You know, everything like when Oscar Isaac's character basically gets like betrayed, and he basically said like, you're going to die and you could potentially take this dude down with you if you want. It was well done because it's like, oh, the choice has been made. We're gonna know how this plays out. We're gonna see how this plays out. And then of course the guy who betrays him ends up getting killed too. It's just like, you son of a bitch. Everything.
Typical coward.
Man.
Typical coward.
That guy's.
But although he's not really a coward.
That guy's from one of the Pirates of the Caribbeans. He's
which character?
The Asian dude?
No, not the Asian dude. I guess the main villain. I don't know if he was the bishop or something.
Skarsgård. Vladimir Harkonnen.
Yeah. He's in a whole
lot of stuff.
But yes, he is in one of the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Bill's father.
He's one of the.
Or he's Bootstrap Bill.
He's Davy Jones's. Yeah, he's Davy Jones's one of like the side guys that's with Davy Jones.
Barnacle Ben or something.
Yeah, it took me so fucking long to figure out what that guy was from, and it was almost ruining his performance in it. But again, like I guess how you guys said, like you can feel like I saw it on a fucking 40-inch screen, and you feel like you're in the desert. They put in your head that those suits, without those suits, you won't survive. You're gonna wither up, dehydrate. You're gonna die. Like, and you kind of feel that you're walking through these endless dunes of sand, and they're harvesting, and they do such a great job of creating the tension with the worms and everything. I think that the only complaint about the movie that I would have is that you don't see more of the worms. But I guess they're these grandiose things that perhaps it's better just to leave it the way it was than to try to force it with poor CGI or something like that. And that's another thing.
It would feel forced if it was too much.
And I love
part two.
Yeah.
Part two, nice. And that's the thing. Like, it's like you know that these characters are gonna have bigger storylines coming out. Like Zendaya is in it. Besides the visions, she's in it for maybe 10 minutes, 8 minutes. You know that she's gonna have a huge storyline coming through. You know, like everything about this movie. This is what I wish the new Star Wars could have been like. I feel like this storyline, like I said, this spawned that whole universe and all that. You can see why, because it gets it all right. And
That's a great point, Angela.
I think I did a little bit of honestly, I wouldn't even call it research, but I kind of grazed through some stuff. Now, there's no real technology going on right here. Like, there's no AI at all, even though we're 3,000 years in the future. I like that. Because you're still in the future, but it's still kind of analog now, and it's still I really like that touch.
So, Gab, obviously, he read the book, so he knows why that is.
So it's a very
and it's actually pretty even more interesting than what you think it is.
So in this universe, and again, I understand completely. It's a film. There are certain things you kind of have to skip. Hope the audience gets a vibe up, and then just keep moving. So the reason why that is that during a previous jihad in another time during this universe, technology was deemed under their new Bible. So in a religious context of their new Bible, that man will not create machines in the likeness of themselves. So it is heresy. It is bad. And it goes against the trope that would come after this book, which was published in the early 60s. Everything we have of futuristic stuff is about how we make AI, it turns on us, and we're fucked. So this is a future where humans were like, this is a bad idea, right? We should stop. Yeah, we should stop. Let's stop. So they stopped doing that. They stopped. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, so it's like if this movie was a sequel and it came after whatever happened with Terminator type shit.
Yeah.
Like Terminator happens in a very distant past, and this very far future understands that and was like, we're not doing
Let's
that.
Stop doing that. Yeah. Let's stop doing that. And that's what so what instead what they did is, because they will not create computers and all that stuff, then we have to do it. Humans have to be trained to become human computers. So you might remember two characters in the movie who for moments their eyes kind of went white before they like spoke. So they're called mentats, and mentats essentially are human computers. They are trained from a very young age to just basically be these giant calculator, dictionary, encyclopedia motherfuckers, and they just serve noble houses. So if you're like, oh my god, how long would it take to get to that planet? He just goes wide-eyed and be like, it will take approximately, and that's what they do. Mm-hmm. So because we don't invest in computers, we've created human computers.
That's great.
Basically,
it's great. I think that it really is a good touch, because like again, you're in the future, but then it's all still very analog. It's just great. I think it's just such a good story, and you're gonna see where this kid's character arc is gonna go, and if it leads to demise, whatever. I don't know. I'm invested in it now, so I'm stoked for a new one. I'm glad that I watched this, and I just like his evolution of the character. Him, you know, he's kind of like a little scrawny guy. You know, he's like, "Oh, take me with you," you know. And then once he's there, and it starts like, well, shit, like you start hearing like I might be the chosen one, and this and that, and everything kind of starts working. And like when at the end there, where he's with the Fremens, and it's basically like, all right, you got to fight this dude, and he basically he handles him easy. He's like, nah, son, you gotta finish him off here. I loved that part, because you could almost tell like he's like, all right, well, time to fulfill the prophecy. Kills the dude, and then it leads you into like, well, this dude is now on his way. I almost want him to go rogue Anakin style here and just turn. I want it so bad.
Just do a heel turn.
But I know that won't happen unless he kills a smaller. I don't know. I didn't read the books. Spoiler? Looking for a reaction.
I'm trying to be as like still face as possible to not spoil it. The book looks dense, but let me like just highlight again. Look how short the pages are to this, and like even the text itself is not large. Like you can get through this, I think, if you're very committed. But it is a very dense story. Going into this movie, I was really nervous because just how dense and complex and how much of an info dump you get as soon as you start it. I was like, I don't know if this is going to work, bro. Like, I don't know if you're going to be able to turn this into a successful movie. Like, that's kind of tricky. I think he absolutely pulled it off. I agree as a hardcore fan of the story, that where he made compromises and where he sacrificed, I was stung for like a second, but I said, okay, I get it. I get what you're ultimately doing. But he's still keeping the integrity of the original. There is one moment, so you're kind of like, I don't know if it was that clear to you guys as it's progressing with the visions. So what's ultimately happening to Paul is, yes, he is like the Messiah. He is basically Jesus Christ. And what his powers are is becoming, and you kind of maybe see that a little bit with the behind the scenes with the Conehead witches, the Bene Gesserit, where they are talking about this being that they're trying to create by fucking guys and getting pregnant and like trying to ensure this perfect DNA to create what they call the Kwisatz Haderach. And that is someone who has the powers of a Bene Gesserit, as he showed, because he has the voice. But their minds can be in the present, the past, and the future. So it's like a consciousness that defies like space and time. And that's what he's becoming in the story. So as he's having that scene in the tent I feel critical to there will be another moment similar to that, but there's in the book, it's such a critical moment because it's where he's getting this first real understanding. And this isn't a spoiler because it was in the movie, but he was mumbling a lot. Yes, he is going to become this figure, and yes, he is going to have his rise, but it's going to come at the price of this a jihad that will take over the entire universe.
Yeah, he was saying like a war for like my father's skull or something
religious
like that.
war,
Yeah.
religious.
A religious war. Well, they didn't want to use the word jihad. Fuck you. That will span the entire universe. It's I'm trying to say like that I'm not spoiling anything because I genuinely don't think that the sequel book Dune Messiah will get turned into a movie personally. It just if I thought that this was difficult to make cinematic, that I think is damn near impossible. I don't know how you're going to turn that into a movie, but it ultimately reveals, and I'm not revealing spoilers, but that this is ultimately a troll. Like this whole thing, this whole hero's adventure, journey, rise is one giant fucking joke, and the writer's lying to all of you. And I'm wondering how if there's a space to fully flesh that story out in the figure and what he will become by the end.
Who? The main
Paul.
kid?
Yeah. What Paul's ultimate destiny is, and he knows.
So ultimately, whatever whatever Paul becomes is ultimately going to be a troll job to us, the fans.
Yes.
Oh wow, that's great.
Oh, I'm in for that.
You're all being trolled. Like that's ultimately.
I'm in for that.
You're all being trolled.
I don't care if it's calling me an idiot.
It's
you can troll me all you want if it's something I'm not going to expect.
Nice twist and.
Herbert isn't calling the fans that, like, when Dune Messiah came out, it like the fans like wanted to burn the book. They absolutely hated it. They were so angry with it.
Right.
But that's because they're not just giving you your perfect hero dream. Right. He's giving you something as close to reality as humanly possible.
Yeah.
Dune itself, this dense story, serves as Frank Herbert, that's the name of the author, his commentary on the consequences of power, the consequences of drinking your own Kool-Aid, thinking that you're something bigger than you're not, and that the dangers of dogma and religion. If anything, I think it's a very, very creative way of saying, stop praying and take responsibility for your lives.
Ooh, I like that.
So, and you'll get more hints of that. Dune Messiah is probably the one that most hits that, but he lets his readers have this one book where it's just like this perfect hero's journey, and then the sequel is just
nice.
So
this motherfucker
it's great, and there's so much to go.
This motherfucker gonna die within the first 20 minutes of the next film. He's gonna just start killing himself for his girl.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, I mean, if he becomes a piece of shit,
he'll be a piece of shit.
I won't spoil. The only thing I will say is the sequel comes out in 2023. It's 2 years after the release of this one. Coincidentally, there is a time jump in the book. There is a 2-year time jump. So
which is 2 years from us now.
Yeah, so it fits.
It'll be. Yeah.
It's 2 years of Paul and his mother in the desert adapting to the Fremen life and what that looks like and what has happened since those 2 years.
Oh, right.
I will say this, Timothée Chalamet. I accepted your twink body for Dune Part 1, but you're supposed to become a Fremen fucking badass warrior, Bene Gesserit, Messiah, beast of the universe.
He's got 2 years. He can get stacked.
And I'm going to need it to happen.
He's going to be working out with Batista, baby. Him, Batista, and Efron.
He needs to hit,
he'll be all right.
Look like the character. Because the thing is, Paul Atreides does some badass fucking shit in this book here on out, and I'm like, I won't have you doing that with a gust of wind in the desert blowing you away.
Right. Fair.
Push-ups.
Question. So, I think this one did pretty well. I think it's at like 300 million already.
Yes, it's done decent in the box office considering the release.
Considering the era that we're in, the scenario that we're in, $300 million is pretty decent. I have reason to believe that the second one will do much, much, much better than
Absolutely,
this.
Yeah.
Because this one had success, it did well, and I think it's one of those movies that has like longevity and rewatchability, like we mentioned, even though it's long, the same way that Zack Snyder's 4-hour fucking cut of Justice League did. So I think because of these factors, it will do well. I gotta believe that, I know you said that they probably won't do the second book, but if the second movie does well of part 1 or part 2 of this book, I can't imagine HBO, whatever studio, is like, yeah, we'll stop here.
No, I can, because if they make it, they're going to be like, what the fuck have we done? People are revolting outside. There's nothing cinematic about that book. It's literally a 300-page book about conversations and you getting depressed and realize that you were lied to for fucking 600 other pages in another book. Right. And it's just like, it's so sobering.
The thing about it is, like, I watch this movie and I go, this is like this world has the potential not to be Star Wars, because that's over the top. But it has a potential to be its own franchisee type thing that has like merch and like maybe even a small portion of a park, like whatever. It has the potential to be that.
Sandworm.
Yeah, like a ride or something.
I mean, look,
because of what it is and how cool it is and all that.
There are 6 books, and I only just finished Messiah, so I am gonna read the third, Children of Dune. So maybe it does pick up. Maybe it does. There's a greater design. There's a greater plan. What I know only from word of mouth.
Maybe they smash the second. If the third book is decent from a plot standpoint and action, then maybe they just take the second book and squeeze it into the first half of a third or fourth movie.
Actually, I'm going to take back everything I just said. I'm going to take back everything I just said in the last 15, 20 minutes.
Wow.
I actually think they should make Dune Messiah, because I think that's your Oscar movie, if anything.
Oh, there it is.
It's such a deconstruction of the first, and there are still so many emotional, personable beats in the story that I think it lends itself to potentially really great performances, really great dramatic scenes, with the backdrop of Arrakis and with these characters. So
and you put very good actors in these scenarios, and that's giving like you're putting it up in that level of Oscar.
You only just have to sprint. All you have to do to sprinkle in for Messiah is show us the jihad. Just give us take us around this universe with your creativity to show different planets and being basically destroyed and 60 billion lives being completely eradicated, because that's the number in throughout the known universe. I think if you give that, because Frank Herbert doesn't really write those scenes, even in the first Dune, like the most like actionable scenes in the second half, he doesn't really write them out. It's like a paragraph, like that happened. Because he's really about he's a conversation writer. He's dialogue. He's the conflict. But obviously for the movie, they're going to give you the action. So I think if you do make Dune Messiah, the only thing you have to do is to give you the weight of the bullshit is show the jihad.
Yeah, I mean there's got to be ways to do it. And Gab, Hollywood is full of 1 billion creative people. By this point, you would think that HBO, the studio, I know we've complained about them a lot, not HBO, but Warner Brothers. By then, you would think 2 years from now, they're dropping the second movie, which would mean that this movie wouldn't come out for another 3 fucking years after that. Yeah. Then, like, by then, that's 5-6 years from now that we would get something. You put the right creative people in here, do the right thing, give us a good product. You now are creating a franchise of movies that could even then later open up to new
and we're the
characters and things inside of this world.
And we're in the age of franchises.
We're
in the age of franchises,
works,
dog.
Man.
So, and there isn't just the 6 main books. To be honest with you, Frank Herbert wrote like spin-off novels that were specifically just about the Atreides family, just about the Carino family, just about the Harkonnens.
You got content. Now you got like the Rogue Ones of the world now that you could kind of slip in there. You know.
The plenty of content. You got plenty of content.
You know what? You
got
the
origin stories. You got the
15-minute rant. You got the chat on it.
You got the origin stories now. You can do.
We need connections and jobs with WB. That's all I'm gonna say.
Put an application.
Because clearly we know what we're doing as a group. We don't know how to we don't know how to run our own podcast.
Ideas, man.
But we know movies and we know ideas.
No talent. I know what moves the needle.
On that note, what scores do you guys have?
Moves the fucking needle.
On that note, what scores do you guys have for Dune? Mine is a 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10 for me also. I think that's perfect. Right in there. Gab's gonna shit on this film. He's gonna shit on this.
It's not a 10 out of 10, but it's definitely it's a good movie. Very, very good movie.
As a lover of the book, as someone that saw the attempt to make this as an Everest and like with every setup to fail, the 80s movie being a great example of why that is.
Oh yeah.
I give Dune a 10 out of 10.
That's great.
Absolutely.
For just taking the adaptation from switching mediums and still pulling off to keep the integrity and the heart of the story with a great cast, great visuals, and for being a film that reminded me, and I hope reminded other people, not everything has to be a miniseries. Right. Not everything has. You can tell. You can tell a dense story. In a movie, and it still work. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be, and not everything has to be a miniseries. And I think Dune was just a great breath of fresh air that showed me, film can still be film. Film doesn't need to give you 70 hours of content for you to understand what the fuck they're talking about.
I agree.
So, 10 out of 10.
To be honest, if you think about it, I think like this, even if it was a series, I think it could have been a little too slow.
Yeah, no, because there's going to be, if you're doing a series, now you're talking about you have to fill 6-7 hours. There's going to be some bullshit.
I think it's a lot more hours, and I think this was really good, right in the middle. A good long movie. This was perfect for a good long movie.
There was no real bits of lagging. I think they got a good story. They told it in a good amount of time. There's plenty of action. There's plenty of visuals.
Right.
I think they did a great job, but I think it was really well executed.
There was for me, and my last comment on the movie is, for me at the beginning, I was worried. I'm like, this feels kind of slow. Like just kind of the pace of it, which that's how the book goes because it's there's very rich characters. But when we got to the point when the massacre basically began and the spaceship started to descend and like the explosion happened, I got goosebumps because I hadn't realized, even though I'd already read the book, for the sense of the actors and the performances, God damn it, this director did it. I care about these characters and I feel the weight of this betrayal and of this just giant stab in the back. And that's what you felt when you read it in the book, and he translated that to the movie, and I was just like, this is a 10 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
He did it.
That's great.
Yeah. Really well done. Okay, boys, I think that we did a good job today. Episode 100. Here's to another 100, hopefully more organized. With, we'll add some more characters involved. We'll do some more fun stuff. I would like to start doing more After Dark episodes because they're hilarious. And we're gonna try to. Our goal here, the next 100, is to give us more, to give you guys more, to give more content. Because in reality, why not? Like, we all hang out, we're all friends, we all like watching the same shit for the most part. Let's give more content. Let's watch things together, and let's provide the laughs that we give each other to everybody else. So, good job, guys, and catch you
next week when someone gets fired live on the air.
Live.
Someone is getting fired.
Vince McMahon, you're fired.
Just right through the wall. Don't even have to go into his room.
All right, y'all.
Right through the wall.
Yeah. All right,
Later.
peace.